This is the monthly Hades Hades moon, as I like to call it. And so this is when Pluto transits the moon, pretty much all the different aspects. I do this monthly. Some of you guys like to watch this one. I observed it years ago and while I was in a relationship when all the blowups occurred. Whenever whenever the moon would transit Pluto, and I was like, huh, we do live in a giant clock. So this is my clock for Pluto. Pluto, the tumultuous explosions of all that is false and the ashes of that remain of authenticity as Pluto does. So, several reminders of this year's Pluto in 2025. Currently, it is in retrograde and it is also out of bounds. And this is out of bounds until like sometime in the 2030s. And so that means Pluto's out of control. It has how can we say this? It has left the solar system. It's not coming home. It has ran away. It is doing whatever it wants. When it aligns with Mars, it's looking for souls to reap. When it aligns with Saturn, it's looking for more souls to reap. When it aligns with Jupiter, there's a nice kind of, well, I shouldn't say that. When it aligns with Jupiter, there's extremes, an extreme amount of souls to take, or uh, or vice versa, a lot of truth to come out, to be born into our consciousness. And in this case, we're looking at it with the mirror clock of the moon. The moon is the mirror in the sky. It reflects, refracts, and amplifies the energy of whatever planets it touches as it moves very quickly through the zodiac or through the human design mandala chart. And so the moon is in essence what we observe. What kind of, in a way, how would I say this? It's the clock hand that moves around the circle, that moves around the mandala, and that triggers each planetary energy. And and that's really following the moon is kind of following where the light of inner consciousness, I don't want to say inner consciousness, I mean maybe shadow consciousness. It lights up within us what is not clear. It lights up and disturbs our inner rhythm. I would say our inner rhythm is something different. Our external rhythm, as we perceive it through the daylight, would be the sun, of course, the sun being the focal point of energy and how we receive energy and how we utilize it. I don't mean to make this a diatribe on all the planets. I just got caught up there. So Pluto's in gate 41. This is the gate it's going to be in for a while, next couple years, and that's in the sign of Aquarius. 41 creates limitations. And so Pluto will be working with the 41 to create limitations so as to help us take a more narrow approach, a more narrow focus on what it is we want to create for ourselves in these next couple years as we move closer and closer towards the huge shift in the right angle cross of planning to the right angle cross of the sleeping phoenix, which is a movement from the tribe to more individuality. And as we observe this, we're looking at this month, the roller coaster ride that is the Pluto moon, and when these emotional releases will be occurring. Now, I like to be poetic, so you see my poetic writing here. Pluto's dark powers will ravage the inner fire for your own personal dark night, confronting the hidden faces you might deny. Remember, we all confuse the people around us with past confrontations, try to meet others for the immediacy of their presence. Communicate your needs and ask them their needs in return. Pluto asks you shed layers of faulty images of self and to be authentic. In other words, it is time to communicate how you're feeling and what your authentic needs are putting the light on in terms of what's important to you. We are reflecting on the recent months of Pluto in Aquarius. Look what house Pluto is visiting. And there you will be remaking and recreating yourself again and again and again for the next 25 years. So here what I'm talking about is where you have Aquarius in your birth chart is where Pluto will be messing around for the next 20 odd years or so until it moves into Pisces, which I want to do a video on at some point just for fun. So Pluto's in retrograde right now, inhibiting full transformation. So we're not in a time right now where we can achieve the culmination of full transformation. It's in process. It's in process. And so days to look out for. Today is the second. And so that's in like 4 days. So today's Monday. So maybe Friday. Pluto will square the Scorpio moon. I guess there's a Scorpio moon on Friday. And yeah, so a lot of tension there. This will be the early degrees of the Scorpio moon as Pluto's in the early degrees of Aquarius right now. And yeah, I would say at the end of this week, maybe a little careful in communication between male and female relationships. I like to keep them to a minimum, communication to a minimum when the moon's in Scorpio, because everyone's a little touchy. And on the 14th, which is right after the full moon, a little after the full moon in Sagittarius, Pluto will conjunct the Aquarius moon. It's a great time to kind of watch how Pluto is doing what it's doing every time that Aquarius moon lights it up every month. Then on the 20th, this is after the both Jupiter squares to Neptune and Saturn. Pluto will square the Taurus moon, and this will be towards the latter part of the month as the sun goes into Cancer and solstice, which is right around the 21st, 22nd, um, illuminating the preparatory shifts of energy for next month and the retrograde that's coming from Mercury. And then more so near the end of the month, we have Pluto opposing the Leo moon on the 27th. So these are the dates. There's other dates that Pluto will hit other planets, but the most sensitive, the ones that we feel the most, the aspects that we feel the most is when Pluto hits the moon. And sometimes you can just watch it like a clock if your life and allows enough space to perceive. But as I like to say, the mind cannot contain the day. So no matter how much we attempt to mentally utilize some type of preparatory structure with astrology, there's always a veil. There's always a veil. Something's always veiled that we cannot really penetrate through the mind, that only the intuition can really penetrate through. And that's with allowance. That's with not obsessing to penetrate through the mystery, but just to allow it. And then what else did I add here? Oh yeah, I was talking about the nodes. I just like to add the nodes in, I guess, here, but I should save it for the next video. The nodes are moving on June 14th to, they're staying in Pisces and Virgo, North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo, but it's moving to a new gate. It's moving to the gate of grace, 22, and the South Node to the gate of oppression, the 47, which is a mental sort of confusion, and 22 being more of an emotional um, expression and feeling of inner grace or disgrace. And I'll leave it at that. I'll say more on the dream rave for the month, the transit summary for the whole month. Thanks so much for watching and take care this week, or this month, rather, with these Pluto moon days, these Hades moon days.